Lizette had been entirely wrong about the trip to London being tolerable. It might have been had Mr. Westcott ridden in the coach with them, but shortly before they departed, he had informed them that he would be trailing behind them on his horse. She fingered the strings of her bonnet as she stared out the window. She knew she was a coward, but she was attempting to avoid a conversation with her aunt. What did one say to an aunt that you only just discovered existed? Her aunt's voice broke through the silence. "Are you well, dear?" "I am." "I only ask because you seem wildly interested in the countryside," her aunt said, with amusement in her voice. Lizette met her gaze. "I'm sorry." "You have no reason to be sorry," her aunt said. "I was only just teasing you." "I'm afraid I am not terribly comfortable with polite conversation." Her aunt considered her for a moment before saying, "You will have to get over that, since you will be thrust into high society, and people will expect you to converse with them." Lizette smoothed down her gown. "But I am in mourning." "I do not mean to be insensitive, but your grandfather wishes to introduce you into society once you arrive in town." "Can it not wait until next season?" Lady Anne shook her head. "I'm afraid not," she said. "If memory serves me correctly, you just turned 18. "I did." "If I had my way, you would have been introduced into society last year, but your mother would have none of that," her aunt said. "A young woman with your beauty must not hide behind a bushel." "You knew about me?" Her aunt smiled kindly. "We have known about you for your whole life, but we kept our distance, per your mother's request." "Do you know why that was?" "Let's not dwell on such unpleasant topics," her aunt replied. "We have an appointment with the dressmaker tomorrow afternoon. We will need to obtain a whole new wardrobe for you." Lizette removed the bonnet off her head and placed it down onto the bench next to her. "What will the ton think if I forego the mourning period?" Her aunt waved a hand dismissively in front of her. "The ton will be abuzz with the fact that Lord Ashington's long-lost granddaughter has returned." "How can you be so sure?" "Your grandfather wields a lot of power with society," her aunt said. "Anyone that dares to cross him would be ostracized."